Good day to everyone and welcome to my presentation and oral book review. Let me start by saying in just a few words about our background. My name is Deviani Ilangowan and my metric number 821-83474. This is my friend Tarshini Paramasivan and her metric number 821-83155. And we both are the degree students at a University Malaysia Kelantan. As you can see on the screen, today we are going to the book review of the Dear Mr. Kilmer novel. The author by the Anna Straw, who was writing a kind of the book started historical fiction, biographies, science book and many more for the young people. The number of the pages of the novel is 134 pages. The Dear Mr. Kilmer novel was a publisher at the Perfection Learning 1969. Okay, let me explain to why I'm choosing this story. The story of the Richard journey is embracing his love, was writing poetry, and developing personal opinions of the war was so simple and yet heartwarming. But its lesson was unmissed and the refreshing a comparison to most war stories that we have heard of, which is focuses on the glory of patriotism and the dying for one's own country. Each character has their own sort of developments, and it can be seen that no one can really have a good or bad opinion on something. It's all of how they perceive, and is based on the how they are affected. What I love the most are the relationship developments between the Richard and some of the most important people in his life, which is Pa, Mr. Kilmer, and Hannah Skimmer. The ending was the bittersweet, but we know how to Richard was to learn it so much and also a lot of more to look forward in the future. For the next, I will talk about the setting of the novel. The number one is physical setting. The set is Iowa, the United States of America, during the First World War. The USA had declared war on Germany and was fighting alone with the Allies. Young men were drafted and sent to Europe to fight, and many died. The second is social setting. The war had polarized to the people. The people from the other countries were looked upon the suspenseful. Those as the schemers were ostracized, and because they are from the Germany, even though they are the patriotic, and their son Otto had joined the army to the fights to the German. And the third is time setting. It is set in the early 20th century around 1917, right in the middle of the War I. Okay, for now I'm going to explain the main character of this novel, the Dear Mr. Kilmer. The main character in this novel is Sir Richard Knight. He is 15 years old and the younger son of the farmer in Iowa. He lost his mother at the age of 7. He also disliked hunting and killing animals, but his father and brother think he should hunt. And Richard remembered the first time he had gone hunting with his grandpa and how upset he was when his grandpa killed a beautiful deer. And he was considered. Richard helps his sister, the household, the conscious. And he also writes poems to express his pain but keeps them in a secret place. And Richard also a very sensitive person, sees a poetry in ordinary experience. And she also understands Kilmer's poem as a kinder soul. And Richard also a brave. And for example, she stand up for Hannah against classmates, support her family when the vandals attacked her father in tavern. And he suggests that students should write to soldiers to support and to them. And Richard is a loyal when she gives up in Doughboy of the loyalty towards Hannah, who is forced to decline the position of the ladybird. And she feels terrible about the Kilmer death and finds a peaceful by writing a poem for him. And lastly, he wants his father's approval to write a poem, and he's very happy when she gets it finally.
Good day everyone, I'm Darshini. Richard Knight is a 15-year-old boy and a younger son of a farmer in Iowa. He looks like his mother passed away when he was 7 years old. He hates hunting. Richard remembers his first hunt when his grandpa killed a very beautiful deer. He don't like sports either, but he prefers farming. Richard loves to write poems. It's one of the way he do to express his feelings. But Richard keeps his poems all in a secret place. Good day everyone, I'm Darshini. Richard Knight is a 15-year-old boy and a younger son of a farmer in Iowa. He looks like his mother passed away when he was 7 years old. He hates hunting. Richard remembers his first hunt when his grandpa killed a very beautiful deer. He don't like sports either, but he prefers farming. Richard loves to write poems. It's one of the way he do to express his feelings. But Richard keeps his poems all in a secret place. At night, Gus, his brother and his father go for hunting. Richard's fathers want this to be a special occasion as he wants Richard to kill his first deer. Richard prays that no deer will appear, but it does. Richard takes aim, but is missed. Richard's father knows that Richard didn't want to kill any animals. Richard explained that he doesn't like killing, and his father tells him that that is a part of the life. He had lost his brother a few years ago in a war. Gus teases him and tells him that he should try to feed him by playing games. But he tells Gus that feeding is not his plan. Gus also tells Richard that he should enjoy hunting and not sad by killing animals. Richard remembered her first time saw a very beautiful deer die in the hand of his grandfather. He wrote a poem to express his sadness and keeps that in a very secret place. In school, his teacher read a very beautiful poem that written by Joyce Kilmer. He thinks that his poem is also acceptable too. His teacher tells the class that poetry is not a very easy stuff, and many poets served as soldiers and were very tough people. Richard writes to Kilmer's about how it felt when his teacher read Kilmer's to him. He also mentioned that he writes poems too. 3 weeks later, Richard's teacher tells the class that Hannah's father's tavern has been vandalized. And then she wants the class to sign the card to express their sympathies. Everyone refused except Richard. Richard also offered to send the card by himself to Hannah's family. Richard gets into a fight with his classmates Abner and Harry, who arrest him about Hannah. When he gives the card to Hannah, Hannah looks very upset. He feels disturbed about it. Richard is also a very sensitive boy. He sees poetry in ordinary experience. He also understands Kilmer's poems as a very kindred soul. He also a very brave and loyal boy. He stands up for Hannah against her classmate and support her family when vendors attack her father's tavern. Of Richard's journey and embracing his love for writing poetry and developing personal opinions of war was simple yet heartwarming. Its lesson was ambitious and refreshing in comparison to most war stories that we have heard of, which focused on the glory of patriotism and dying for the own country. Each character has their own sort of development, and it can seem that no one can really have a good or bad opinion on something. What I love the most is the relationship between Richard and some other important people such as Mr. Kilmer and his father. The ending was bittersweet, but we know that Richard has learned so many things. Would you recommend this book? Yes, of course. This book is perfect and highly recommended because it is simple but basically discuss a lot of topics that are very important for today's society. There are a few morals value that we can get from this novel, which is respect and love for family members. Number 2, respect human beings. Number 3, compassion. And number 4, patriotism.